Welcome back. It's still Wake Up Nigeria. Now, personal courage sometimes impacts how one is perceived, by others. And of course, it's an integral part of this is speaking, how one addresses others, how one talks about him or herself. Also, forming a basis for others to form an opinion about you. Now, this morning we have the champ himself, Abiola Champ Salami, here to shed a lot more light on this. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Okay, so speaking like a champion. It feels like a lot of people tend to cower away or shy away from speaking publicly, talk less of speaking like they own the place. So how do you even begin to start learning? You know, this is something that must be a long process. How does it start?
Okay, it's important to know that what accounts for success in communication, 3 V's, and I like to do that so that people can always remember.
Okay.
3 V's: vocal, visual, and verbal. Now, it is said that from research, it is said that only 7% of the words that we speak account for effective communication. Oh, okay. The other 93% is vocal and visual. So visual is 55%, vocal is 38%. Now, let me break it down. Verbal, the words that we speak. Vocal, the way we sound. Visual, what people see when we're talking. It is said that a picture speaks more than 1,000 words. And so with that understanding to communicate, then you realize that as much as it's important to pay attention to the things that we say, it's also much more important is to pay attention to how we sound and then what people see, when we talk. And that is very critical. And so it is said that talk is cheap because of the 7%, but the way you look as well. You want to be sure that whatever you are saying, you look the part. You don't only talk the part, you look the part, you behave the part, and you speak the part.
Okay, so are you saying that I could smile and say, you don't look very nice today, and it still sounds positive?
Well, it depends on your intention, right? You're probably trying to let the person know that there's something the person can do better. Now, you're not fighting with them the video.
Yes.
The same you can frown and say, you don't look nice today. No.
Okay, that's different.
That's different. What you're saying to that individual is you're about to bring out your gloves to fight. Not anything positive, but when you smile, say, you don't really look nice today. Chances are the next thing you want to say is to recommend to the individual what the person could do better. Okay. And that's the place of feedback. Some people do feedback words, not feedback. And feedback is always you commend the person on something the person is doing well, then you recommend what your idea, what the person can do better, then you commend the person. So CRC, commend, recommend.
I feel like you have acronyms for everything. Let me take you back now to the vocal, verbal and visual. Okay, so right now we talked about, we started by saying speak like a champion. So in other words, what I wear speaks as well.
Sure.
What I say, obviously, is speaking, but what I wear and how I look also seems to be speaking the right messages. So what messages am I supposed to be sending exactly? Okay.
It is said that dress the way you want to be addressed. And you cannot dress like a suspect and expect to be treated like a prospect. That is very important. Wow. So in whatever you do, maybe you're a business person, for example, you want to be sure that how you look matches the product or the service that you're selling. Okay. Now, you also want to be sure that how you look matches whatever you want to say. Maybe you want to, so you've been invited to a school, for example, a university, for example, to speak. I mean, if I'm invited to a university to speak, I won't be dressed like this.
Okay. You dress how?
Yeah. So what I will do is you will see my pair of jeans, right, and the top, and of course, all of us will be jumping up together, whatever it is that I'm saying.
Because of the people you're addressing?
Because of the people. So it is not just about the words that I speak, it is also the things that they see. Because they need to match what they see with what they hear. That is actually communication. So there's no dissonance. That's actually communication. So dress the way you want to be addressed. And it is said that what you are doing is so loud that I cannot hear what you are saying.
Wow.
What you're doing is so loud. How you look is so loud that I cannot hear what you're saying. So what we want to always do is to look like what we're saying, look like what we are selling, look like what we're doing. at every point in time.
Okay, so let me just give a very basic scenario. Maybe there's an office meeting coming up. You've been told to give a presentation, a very simple PowerPoint presentation. And these presentations happen every week, but for the first time they ask you to do it. What's the first thing you should think about?
Okay, it's productive preparation.
Okay.
Is you need to prepare well. It is said that proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? So,
okay, I get it. Go ahead.
So it's important to have productive preparation. While preparing, minimize anticipation.
Okay.
Because some people die before death comes. So before the presentation, you may be thinking, oh, what will my MD say? What will people say? How will I dress? How will I look? Will I get my words right? Will I? And then killing your potential to perform well. Minimize your anticipation. Then next, normalize nervousness. Nervousness is real and true. Almost everybody's nervous. In fact, the best of speakers that you know, they are nervous. The only thing is they've learned how to manage it properly. Okay. So even when nervousness comes, know that it is normal. Know that you continue to perform. It is said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to continue in spite of the fear. So while you are feeling nervous, continue your presentation. And one of the things that can help you to get through is just master your opening. The first things that you need to say. So once you say that,
then you feel better.
Then you continue. And along the line, even when you're struggling, there's something called the power of the pause. At some point in time, you can keep quiet.
Wow. But that keeping quiet, that pause, the pregnant pause, sometimes can make the people you're speaking to a little anxious as well. Anxious probably in suspense, but maybe not so much, depending on the type of crowd you're addressing.
Now, what a pause would do, like you said, it will make them anxious. They're wondering, okay, bring it.
Okay.
Like bring it. And of course, you have your next point because you've prepared very well. You just throw it in, almost immediately. Because the thing is, it's important to know that it is said that public speaking, that after the fear of death, the fear of public speaking is the next thing people fear the most in the world.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so the individual that can have a one-on-one conversation within friends, an intelligent conversation among friends, once the person needs to stand in front of a people, everything the person knows kind of could disappear. But when you master the art of public speaking, some of the simple tips that we're sharing, it will help you to navigate and get through.
All right, so there's a guy right now preparing for a presentation tomorrow morning. What's your 3-step pieces of advice for him?
Okay, number 1, prepare, know your content. Number 2, present to yourself. Right? You have a mirror in your bathroom or wherever, present to yourself. Number 3, when you wake up tomorrow morning, know it's a beautiful day and you will knock yourself out because you have a great time. Okay,
all right then. I would love to hear some stories of people that you've worked with before. Have there been some people that were really, really, really bad at public speaking who have, had a turnaround? Okay,
so I remember the case of a lady who, while we were having a training, anytime I tell her to stand up and introduce herself, beautiful lady, intelligent lady, smart, Harvard graduate, by the way, yes, and so whenever she stands up to introduce herself, she's always covering her face, to talk.
Covering her face like this?
Because of people, I mean, there are other people there, and it's shyness, right? And so after working with her for a while, she gives absolutely fantastic presentation. And why? Because she had to understand and learn the art of public speaking. Now, speaking is not the same as education. You can have the best of education. The proof of how educated you are is your ability to convey your intelligence to people, right?
So there are some very, in a sense, unintelligent people who could practice a script and deliver it.
I mean, and that's so sad, that's really sad because every now and then you see some people, who don't have depth of content, but just because they have that presentation skill, so they bring it out. But what makes you a champion, really, it's not just that you know how to present without having depth, it's that you have depth, right? And you have the skill to present as well. Very important, very key. Those two things are key.
So there's one other thing I've noted with quite a few people I've seen who stand up to speak. Is it that they all have a special vocal coach that teaches them how to project or something? I don't know whether it's breathing, I don't know whether it's maybe a voice they grew up with, but how is it that you sound this way? For instance, the way you speak now. How did you learn this?
Okay, remember in the beginning of this conversation, we talked about verbal, vocal, and verbal. Vocal, the way that you sound. It is important for everybody to go through training on how to speak.
Okay.
Verbal, yes, but vocal as well, the way you sound. So you may not have a baritone voice, right? You may not have that kind of voice. But the moment you continue to practice and to learn and to be coached by the right people, you start to develop your own unique style of presentation such that you can always gain the attention of people, and not just gain the attention, retain the attention of people as well. Because gaining is not as important as retaining, you know, and it is said that our attention span is just about 30 seconds.
Wow.
You know, and so you want to gain the attention and you want to retain the attention. And one of the powerful things that everybody needs to know how to do is what I call the power of a smile, even when you are giving a presentation.
Okay, so
now,
you
just smiled now. No, you just smiled now.
It.
That's what you just did now.
Because you told me to. You mentioned smile, and I just started smiling.
You know.
And on that note, we're going to have to wrap it up. But I have a feeling I'm going to be speaking more like a champion.
Oh, come on, come on.
No, but really, thank you so much to Abiola Champ Salami for coming to the studio one more time. Can't wait to continue.